Now, this might not be important to you, but I have this question because I think it can make a lot of difference in the way people read the text and interpret the text. All right? I'm going to put this question out there first, and then I guess I'll just deal with the question later. Or back up the source, back up the information as we develop a conversation. All right. Nowhere before I'll say, to be safe, I'll say Genesis 9. Nowhere before Genesis chapter 9 do you see anybody eating from Genesis chapter 9 backwards. From Genesis chapter 1 to Genesis chapter 9. Do you see anybody eating? Okay? Only place you see mankind eating within the narrative is in the garden, and they eat a fruit. They eat a fruit. Okay, so let's go back. I am not going to present any scriptures because I don't believe in presenting scriptures in my casual videos. Because if I mention something that's in the Bible, you are supposed to know where to find it. All right, I'm not going to do your work for you. I'm not. It's going to be. I'm not going to give you a fish. I'll teach you to fish. All right. I'll give you enough clues to find exactly where it is, but other than that, man, I'm not your husband. I'm not your teacher. I ain't none of that. Now I will do studies that include more scriptures than you can imagine. Trust me on that, because I'm not the guy who don't know where to find stuff. You will know that I'm the guy that can find stuff, anything I want to find in a book, by my studies. My studies will tell you plainly where the scriptures are. As a matter of fact, I will inundate your behind with too many of them. But for right now, when I'm doing these casual videos, I ain't mentioning no scriptures. You find them for yourself. I'm expecting you to be such a Bible student that you could hear what I got to say and then go through your tools and look it up. Go through your lexicon, concordance, or anything. Look it up. So I'm gonna get back to my point before I don't want to go too far down that road right there. But Genesis chapter 9 to Genesis 1, we see nobody eating except for Adam and Eve, or Adam and Hawa. They both eat a fruit, a mysterious fruit that we are never known. We are never made privy to what that fruit was. Okay, we don't even know if it was food, honestly. But they ate it. A lot of people want to say it's an apple. Nowhere in the text does it say it's an apple, right? Neither here nor there. I'm building a point for a specific reason. In Genesis chapter 9, okay, Noah is told by God he can eat any of the animals he desires to. Any of them. Okay? Any. All right? And a lot of people want to go back and say, well, Moses did put clean animals in the ark and unclean animals. Okay, great. That does not mean he ate them. Nowhere in the scriptures between Genesis chapter 9 and Genesis 1 did it say he ate them. Clean, even now, well, I'm not going to say now, but clean even in the time of the Mosaic Law, meant animals that you could offer to God. Animals that you not only could offer to God, but could consume. Okay? So, just because he brought clean animals and unclean animals in there does not mean that he could, he was eating them. Because look, here's the deal. In Genesis chapter 1, God details a dietary law for mankind. And it included fruits, vegetation, even herbs. These three things. Nowhere was man instructed to eat animals. Many people probably come to me and say, well, when Adam sinned by eating this fruit, then you see where he was clothed with skins. Those skins had to come from an animal. Therefore, he must have eaten that animal. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that at all. And see, this is why some people with Bible knowledge don't have enough of it. And then but go around like they got it all. And they want to teach. Big mistake. Big mistake. First of all, let's make this clear. Let's be specific. Let's have attention to detail like most people who read this book don't have. Let's do this, okay? Adam, okay, first of all, let's understand one thing. There's a type of offering for sin. For sin. That is called the burnt offering. Okay? And you don't just put an animal on the daggone altar and burn it. No. What you do is when it comes to an animal that you offer, you take the hide and you take the guts out. This is why people need to really study the sacrificial system, because what happens is the Levites would even a burnt offering, they would take out the guts, place them to the side on the altar, and burn the animal and the guts simultaneously. But the guts were not in the animal. I think the Passover is the only animal that you can roast with everything inside, okay? But you eat that. We're talking about a burnt offering for sin. So you remove the skin, and then you and to mention this, the Levites were privy. Well, not privy, but Levites were obligated to have the skin. They were obligated to give the skin of the animal to the Levites when the Mosaic law became in fashion. Okay, so they are the ones running around here with some leather coats on and leather robes and all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to say they had leather robes. Maybe they did something else with the skin, because I know one of the things they did with the skin was they made tents out of the skins of animals. And then they had tools and shoes and all kind of stuff Israelites used the skin for. All right? So let's get back. So far we have mankind who were given a diet of vegetation, right? And then, if that wasn't enough, Moses said, because you did this thing, Adam, you will eat your bread by the sweat of your brow. All right? Well, I guess because he didn't have the technology then hunting wasn't something that there was a viable option for them. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going by what's inside the text. Here's a challenge. If you can find an instance of somebody eating in the Bible before Genesis chapter 9, or before Genesis chapter 18 for that matter, you might be able to find something before Genesis chapter 18. I haven't really searched. I haven't checked. I don't remember either. But Genesis chapter 18 is when Abraham feeds the three visitors, right? But we do see instances later in Genesis of eating, and flesh at that. Particularly when Jacob requires a meal before, while he's sick, and he asks his one son to go get him a meal, and his mother overhears the conversation and says, "Hey, go pretend to be your brother and go cook this up." Okay? So, as far as eating is, like I said, it may not matter to any of you guys, and that's cool. That's cool. This is for Bible students who find it interesting and fun to comb through the book and discover what's not there and what is there, okay? That's who this is for. So, bye if it's not your thing, okay? So here I go back to square two. Let's go to square two. So we got the man, I'm back to square one. We got the man who's given a vegan diet, right? But we don't see that diet change until Genesis chapter 9, when God goes into covenant with Noah and his sons and say, hey, man, just like you were able to eat all the green herbs, it's the exact same way you can eat all the animals. All flesh is what it said. All flesh. It didn't say, well, you can only eat clean flesh, but you can't. So anyway, I say that to say the Gentiles, who would include, would include his son, who are progeny of Gentiles or whatever. And so is Shem. Shem was told, all three of them, Shem, Japheth, and Ham, they were told, hey man, eat this stuff, right? But the problem is, where do you see this happening at? Where do you see? The point I'm trying to make is that mankind was not we don't see evidence. I'm not going to say he wasn't. We just don't see evidence of a mankind eating animal flesh before a certain period in the book. I'm not going to say he was vegan, but I know he started out vegan. I'm going to say that. Okay? And that makes sense now, that because of this covenant, God put the fear of man inside of animals. All right? And so he made animals afraid of mankind, so that, I guess, when we come around, they were scattered and scurry, right? And so they weren't able to, it wasn't just like mankind go around and pick a daggone rhinoceros and start eating on it. Nothing like that, right? So I'm going to say this. I know, and I am your opponent in this matter. I'm your opponent. So what you got to do is you got to try to prove me wrong. Okay? That should make it more fun. And that should give you incentive to go investigate. All right? So black people like to always prove somebody wrong. Black people always like to have an opponent when they do something or they don't feel like doing it. So I'm going to try to make it interesting by putting my reputation on the line and say, hey, prove me wrong, all right? There is no instance of a mankind eating an animal before a certain point in time in Genesis, right? He starts out as a vegetarian. He now gets the law, the okay from God to eat anything he wants to, right? And then we start seeing this happening, right? So, if that's the case, then if I'm right, which I think I am, I believe I am, I know I'm right, but if that's the case, then you're wrong. You, the person who goes around teaching that Moses kept the dietary laws, which the Bible never says, all right? So you misunderstood the text when it said that he gathered clean and unclean animals and put them in the ark, all right? That doesn't mean he ate them. It doesn't mean he ate them. Or I don't know a chicken that would survive after the flood, okay? But because it says clean and unclean animals, it meant that these are animals that that can be offered, and these are animals that can't be offered. Because being clean and unclean means that it's eligible for sacrificial offering. Okay? It just means I could be a vegetarian all I want to. And to atone for my sins, I could just take a lamb, never have to eat it, offer it on the altar, prepare it and all that kind of stuff, and then burn it as a burnt offering. Never get a piece of it at all. Never get not one bite of that offering. So that must be understood. Then this must be understood. Then nowhere do you read a man eating an animal up until a certain point. Has to be understood. Those three components will complete your knowledge in this matter. Not just taking what's popular out of somebody else's mouth, then going back and regurgitating it to anybody else who would listen and who don't know anything, because most people are spoon-fed knowledge. Okay, so all right, let me see. I don't want to go down that road. Let me go down. Okay, so I put the challenge out there. It's up to you whether you can find it and prove me wrong. Hey, if you prove me wrong, I'll give you a $100 gift card from Visa. How about that? $100 gift card. That should make it more interesting. All right? But here's the challenge. Find somewhere before Genesis 9 where a human was eating animal flesh and you win. It's just that simple. Other than that, you're going to have to join, you're going to have to get behind me and join the bandwagon, because I can show you the first place in the Bible where a man eats an animal. And it ain't in there. All right? And so that, I'm not saying this to say, oh, we should all be vegetarians. Like, you got some within the Hebrew Israelite camps believing we're supposed to be vegetarians because man's original diet was vegetarian. I'll agree that it was, because if you look at Genesis chapter 1, the stipulations for man's diet was all by vegetation. It was fruits, vegetables, and herbs. That's it. But after the Genesis chapter 9, after the flood in Genesis chapter 9, where he makes a covenant with man, that's any animal you want to eat. Any animal. He didn't make a specification. He didn't say you can only eat anything but pigs. He didn't say that. He didn't say you can only eat anything but lizards. He didn't say that. He said you can eat all flesh as you were eating the green herbs and fruits and vegetables and all that kind of stuff. But this goes a little bit beyond that. So don't put words in my mouth, because I'm not saying things that you might be thinking I'm saying. I am saying that you will not find a man eating flesh until a certain point in Genesis. Now, I don't want to rely on my memory, because my memory is not that good. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it ain't, right? So I know that Jacob has a meal offered to him by, Isaac has a meal offered to him by his son, who he thought was another son. I'm thinking in my mind, maybe that's the first place mankind eats flesh. I don't know if I can trust my memory, so I'm going to have to probably go back and look in a book and find that. But I know the first place flesh is eaten is when Abraham offers a meal to these 3 visitors that come to visit him, which are angelic. So it seems. Okay, I'm going to say they appear to be angelic. All right? He plainly calls them men, but we call them angels. And Christianity called them angels, so now we call them angels. All right? We don't know what they were. Okay? So anyway, go forth, do your homework, and come back with the answers. If you know it now, go ahead and put it down, and let's have fun. This is all for the sake of fun. It's all for fun. I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong. I'm not trying to be, well, if I am proven wrong, big deal. But this is all just, the purpose of this is to get you in that book, to get you combing through the pages and digging and finding out how to find information and then paying attention to what information is in there. It's beyond just, we Israel and you Esau and we are under the curses and God gonna come back one day and take us back. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. I just want to get some more knowledge into your brain and give it interesting challenge to everybody, so that see, I'm gonna tell you something. For me, I don't really entertain myself with television and radio. Oh, I hate the radio. Unless it's a talk show, right? I hate that. I think that's a waste of human life. I believe there's far more productive things we could be doing, especially feeding far more important and interesting things we could be feeding our brain other than what's on television. What Hollywood decides is going to show us, and whatever hip-hop artists decide they want to rap about, which is nothing at all. And I believe garbage in, garbage out, right? So for me, I entertain myself with the book all of the time, man. All of the time. And I know some of you thinking, oh my God, Wandell, you need to get a life. That is so boring. Maybe for you it is, but not to me, because I know what to do with this information once I attain it. I can use it. It improves and enriches my life once I attain it. The crap I hear these, let me try to bite my tongue, these hip-hop rap artists rapping about, I can't use that crap. I wouldn't want to use it. I would not want to model my life after nothing they say. Nor on television. I'll tell you what, there are some shows, right? There's some cooking shows. There's some real estate shows. There's a home remodeling show. I love those kind of shows. I love those kind of shows, right? Those do-it-yourself shows that teach you and instruct you. I like to learn. I like documentaries. And I got Netflix, YouTube, and Roku for that. So I don't need television. So anyway, I'm just trying to find a way for, to help you utilize what you have, because there's more entertainment available to you than just television, radio, games, and all this other foolishness that this world offers to us. So have at it, man. Let's have some fun with this. Come back and see how you make out. Hasta la vista.